Yeah, that's something I actually wrote a review a long time ago that I was gonna get a shotgun microphone for interviews, and then I tried it just out of I was like, let me just try using this microphone for sit down interviews, and sure enough, it I mean my investment in your company saved me like almost double the money that I would have had to put out for like a boom pole and for another microphone, a shock mount, you know, and it was great.
Well, that's nice to hear, Adam. That that the value, you experience the value in your own work. One of the things we've got a U67 here now, and we've got a KM84 and a few other Neumanns, and it was really kind of an epiphany and an ear opener to actually now own a U67, because until you use one,
Now,
uh,
just for reference, for people out there, how much do one of those cost? New,
uh,
new.
well, they're not available now. I mean, I knew.
Back when they were available.
The interesting thing is the prices remain the same, $6,000.
Mm.
The equivalent. I mean, it wasn't $6,000 in 1967,
Adjusted
but
for inflation.
adjusted for inflation. Yeah, the microphone is basically has stayed the same price. Whether you bought one new then or you want to buy a used one now that's in nice shape, it's about 62 to $6,500.
Wow.
So, and they're somewhat rare. Maybe one will show up on eBay every couple of weeks, and then you've got the question of what kind of shape it is. How's the capsule? How's the tube? It's probably going to have new capacitors put in if it hasn't been done.
Right.
Capacitors.
The one thing about buying stuff off of eBay, I ran into this. I've never smoked anything in my life, and audio equipment, it gets smoke on it, and I don't know how much of it you would know more than me, but I just don't like having gear that has a cigarette smell on it, or
Yeah.
any or some other substance.
I can tell when a guy's a heavy smoker because, man, well, sometimes we get a box in here and we open it up and it's like the smoke comes billowing out of the box.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? That's your thing. I don't have a thing against smokers. I'm against all the laws about indoor smoking and all that. But man, when I buy stuff that use and it has that on there,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So getting back to the epiphany around the U67, until I owned one, I had done shootouts with them before by going to a good studio, renting time, and actually we did 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, we did a shootout at Capitol Studios in Hollywood.
oh really?
Yeah, and this stuff is on my website now. We had Frank Sinatra's favorite U48. He called it his telly because at that point, when Capitol bought those mics, they were still being distributed by Telefunken. A lot of people don't know that a Neumann U47, U48 is the same thing it's the same microphone as a Telefunken, except that Neumann was the manufacturer and they were using Telefunken as worldwide distributors. So some were branded early on as Telefunken. So Frank Sinatra called that microphone his telly. That was his favorite telly. So we did shootouts out there. But it's a different thing just to hear the audio come back and then, but to actually own one of these mics. I just recently put up some new audio files comparing the U67 with my new K47H. And, at first blush, when you listen to both of those microphones and you bounce back and forth on acoustic guitar, they both say, wow, that's a good acoustic guitar sound coming from a U67. And then you say, wow, that's a nice acoustic guitar sound coming from the K47. But then if you listen repeatedly, if you take a section of an acoustic guitar, say, and 20-second section, loop it 4 or 5 times, and listen to that repeatedly. This is what I did yesterday. I listened to the U67 repeatedly for about a minute. And what that does is it helps your memory form an imprint. You're actually forming like neurological memory pathways that you're imprinting the sound of that mic in your memory. You know, when you're a kid, you have to learn lists of words and how to spell things. You know, you're building neural connections.
Right.
Well,
The synapses are firing and all that.
exactly. Yeah, you can do the same thing with sound images. You know, if you consciously go about it, set up a 20-second piece, listen to it, build that memory in there, and then switch over to the second mic that you're comparing. Man, it's night and day then, because what I heard is that the U67 has a slightly nasal honk quality to it, and what that is that's the signature sound of a 3-layer head basket compared to the open, more neutral, more natural quality in the K47, which is a single layer head basket. You know, when you've got more open area. Now I'm going to talk right now. See, right now I'm talking to you with my hands cupped around my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like a little megaphone, a little chamber. You know, and then I take it away, and it gets natural again.
Right.
And microphone head baskets have a signature, and you can hear that signature if you expose yourself to it repeatedly, and then switch to something that doesn't have that sound, and then you immediately hear it. So up until this point, I, like almost everybody else, held the U67 in awe. It's beyond reproach, you know, the U67. But the fact is, it's another microphone. It's a good microphone. It's a legendary microphone, but it's got a sound that may not be what everybody needs or wants to use.
Now I'm curious, with the 3 layers, was that to kind of have like a to reduce plosives, or what?
Yeah. A couple of things. Reduce plosives, protect the capsule, provide really robust electromagnetic shielding.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in the old days, pop filters weren't used. You know, you never saw pop filters, either foam or screening, until quite late in the mid 60s. Then there were some homebrew things. There's some early pictures of Capitol Studios in the mid 60s where you're starting to see some silk structures.
Pantyhose on the on the hangers.
I think they did that specifically for Dean Martin too, because the guy was kind of a slobbering singer, so they helped him out by putting a pantyhose in front of the mics.
Nowadays, I mean, we have a lot. You know, we've advanced so much more with, you know, filtering technology, as far as, you know, accessories are concerned, that you don't really need to compromise the design.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you know those curved pop filters that you see from old Beatles shoots at Abbey Road. Those things were actually made in house by the Abbey Road technical engineers in the laboratory there. Those things were not. They didn't go out and buy those things. They made them. They machined them.
Those guys were literally in white lab coats, weren't they?
Oh yeah. These were the guys. The guys who made those pop filters wore brown lab coats. The guys who wore the white lab coats could actually go in the studio and set up the microphones. But the guys who built stuff, like in the machine shop, they were brown coats.
Man, if only they had a reality TV crew back then, right?
I know.
I mean, 5 cameras or something.
So now that we've got external pop filters, it gives me the opportunity. I'm not locked into the heritage of keeping the 3-layer Neumann head basket intact. You know, I'm free to experiment because I started by experimenting on cheap microphones, so they can only get better. Mm-hmm. So why not experiment with the head basket?
Right, and going back to something that you said, you know, if you have a lot more time to, kind of perfect it or get, there's no such thing as perfection, but to get it as close as possible because you own one now, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and and the other thing that's been really great is that I can say, yeah, the U67 is really great. It has this really nice quality. It's a tube transformer coupled mic with negative feedback, and that whole system gives you some compression, dynamic range compression built right into the mic, and you can hear that. So there's a very smooth sound that the U67 delivers, particularly in the dynamic range. I'm not talking about just the frequency domain smoothness, but its dynamics are very, very smooth, as if it's already been run through a compressor, a very, very soft compressor, giving you about 3-4 dB of compression, to kind of tighten things up a little bit. But in other respects, it's got some coloration that I don't want to emulate. That sort of mid-range-ish honk quality. I don't need to emulate that part of it. The smoothness of the top end is worth emulating, I think.
I believe that was tongue in cheek.
Yeah. But it's great to have it because you realize that it's a $6,000 microphone made from unobtainium, but I can offer something that's 1/10 the price and make people very, very happy.
And you also offer matched pairs too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we match pairs and they're actually a little bit cheaper. I think the way the pricing is, it's a little bit cheaper to get a matched pair. So there's no upcharge for pair matching.
Very cool. Like I said, all the different things I've read about, miking up drums, a lot of times they say go for the U67. On the kick drum, I don't know if it was the 47 or the 67, but a lot of times they said, put that on the outside of the kick drum, and then also for the room mics, 2 nice U67s will get you a beautiful sound. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
I know, you got to record in a good room, but but like you said, it's great for vocals. Some of anybody who's seen some of the mix series, where I go through professional mixes and I research how they recorded it. A lot of times they've used U67s. So to give people the ability to have this micro, like you said, for like 1/10 of the price or 1/20th of the price. What did you say? 1/10?
It's about 1/10, yeah. Because my introductory pricing was $629 for a capsule head alone, and the U67 is in the $6,200 range. So,
and this is the full microphone. You don't have to send in a mic, right?
That's the capsule head alone. You would still need a body. So yeah, okay. It's a little bit more if you buy a set from me that has the OktavaMod body. That was something I learned, that people not only want to buy capsule heads to put on the OktavaMod bodies they already own, but some people want to start from scratch and have a complete microphone. So I've got several different packages. A single capsule head, a capsule head with a body, a stereo pair of capsule heads, a stereo pair of capsule heads with a stereo pair of OktavaMod bodies. So there's 4 different packages based around this same K47H capsule head.
While I'm thinking about it, I actually first heard about your company on, I can't remember if it was KVR Audio's forums or if it was on Gear Sluts, but you've been quote unquote disappeared from Gear Sluts. If you don't mind me asking, what happened there?
Yeah, I got ghosted. Well, ghosted and I guess ghosted is when you can read and actually post, but then your posts don't show up, but you can read your own post. It's a weird experience. What? And then beyond getting ghosted, I'm blocked out, I'm banned. So I had been a contributor to Gear Sluts for like 5 years, 6 years. I've got 2,600 posts in my name there, and I always thought I was trying to be a helpful guy and contribute to the community in a positive way. Use my real name, not some anonymous pseudonym, and in the about 6 months leading up to me getting banned at Gear Sluts, there was a real Joly hate club that got started over there. I don't know if it was like sour grapes. People thought I was just, one of the complaints was I was just always pushing my own stuff. I didn't see it that way, but the haters, that was their story.
What did you just like have like something in your signature about your company? I mean, a lot of people had that, right?
Yeah. I had a regular SIG file with an image and a link to my site.
Right.
But I think it was more that I was just always talking about microphones and modified microphones. One of the most popular threads on Gear Sluts to this day is one called a thread that I created called Best Value Budget Microphones. And I talked about stuff that was good out of the box. This is a thread that has got 135,000 page views or something.
Wow.
So I really think I contributed positively for 5 years, and then all of a sudden, within a matter of months, I got 3 infractions. And then it's never explained to you exactly what it is that you did that crossed the moderators wrong. But here's the upside. The upside of getting banned and ghosted from Gear Sluts is that I don't spend nearly as much time reading over there. And and the other thing is,
it does hurt productivity.
I get 5 times as much inbound traffic to my website from Facebook.
Really?
That I just started on Facebook in October, and I get 5 times as much traffic. Oh, here's another example.
Well, how do people find out about you now? Just word of mouth?
It's a good question. I get very good search results on certain terms. So people find out about me through they're searching for something related to microphones. So I get good results on the search engines. OktavaMod is very well known. Oktava is quite well known brand, and if you do any searches related to Oktava modification, I pop up that way. And people are still finding out about me because on a daily basis, half of my inbound traffic every day is from new people. So like every day, it's like half of the people there it's the first time that they've been there.
Well, that's really good.
I'm kind of amazed that after 6 years, it's still like I'm a newbie. It's very cool because I get to tell a story right from the top, and prove myself on a daily basis.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring you on Real Home Recording because, it's your business is word of mouth, and and there's so many people on the internet you don't know who to trust. And I'm saying, look, I don't know you. This is the first time I'm talking to you over the internet, Michael, and this is the first time you're talking to me, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But I bought your upgrade back, I believe in 2009 is what it says on the paper.
Wow.
So, I'm a real person and I sent my mic away to a stranger. I paid, I don't remember what,
and you paid up front. That's right.
I paid up front. I put my trust that something was going to be done to my microphone to improve it. And if anybody, number one, now people know your name, anybody who watches this video, and, I am a real person saying, hey, my microphone sounds better.
Well, thanks for that. And Adam, thanks for taking the leap of faith because, that's why I've always used my real name in forums. And
also, I had a lot more money back in 2009 too, so I was just like, whatever.
You could gamble a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. And hey, I'm glad the gamble paid off though. So
yeah, it was a good bet. But when you build a business, an online business, you really got to be square with people, because one dissatisfied client is a couple of clicks away from bagging on you in a number of different forums. So I was willing to be real square with people and really try to over-deliver, under-promise and over-deliver, and surprise people that way.
It's a good business policy. That's something that I'm doing right now. I'm trying to restart my my video business, and that's exactly what I'm doing. That's the way to handle things. That's what people want.
Yeah. It's if you really can deliver on it and a great experience, it almost sounds like a cliche because you read it in the business press all the time.
But it's not. I mean, look, if anybody thinks about like any company dealings they've done, like I don't know, even if it's just buying food, like the experience of buying that food, was it quick? Did the person who I'm talking about a drive-through right now? I'm a I'm a frequent fast food person. When I drive up to that window, is it fast? Are the cars that I was behind, is that moving fast? Do they get my order right? I love that McDonald's and all the other ones now have like a screen to show you, what your order is, because you can see on that screen, I didn't order a double cheeseburger, I wanted a McDouble or whatever. But like you said, it might be a cliche, but people want good service. They want value is what they want. They don't, the price doesn't matter. More so it's value. People assume if they spend more money, they will get that.
And some kind of authentic experience. One of the challenges.
Actually, but before I forget, I know this is kind of off topic, but the experience I had today, my food was really good. But you know what kind of upset me about my McDonald's experience today?
What was that?
One of the employees, it's raining here in Maryland, and the guy went outside, and he said the guy who had just like the cashier, I guess he went on break, and he said it's cold as shit outside. Now, as somebody who's young, I don't really mind cussing, but there's older people out, who were standing near, like senior citizens.
Yeah,
They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear somebody say that. They don't want to hear profanity. It's something like that, and that kind of like upset me a little bit. And I'm somebody who lets the swear words fly, But like, I don't expect somebody who was just behind the register saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, back to you. What's some other products that you offer? Mic modifications. Now you had the new ones.
Yeah, well, you've been talking about the mic that you're using, that MXL 603. So we do small diaphragm microphones that are used for acoustic guitar, piano, and drum overhead most often. I do a big business in ribbon microphones. Right now, I offer modifications to a Chinese built microphone. It's marketed by and sold as an Apex 205. It's a very nice long ribbon microphone, and we can make that thing sound like something that's in the range of a Coles 4038 or RCA 44.
What about a Royer?
For the Royer sound, that's a short ribbon mic. So you'd want to look into something like a Nady RSM3, RSM4, or RSM5. All of three of those mics use the same ribbon motor. They have different head baskets, so there's little small differences in the head basket sound, but the motor type is the same type as the Royer. In fact, when those mics first were introduced by Nady, the original RSM3 copied the Royer motor design right down to the offset ribbon placement, which is, the only part that's patented in a Royer microphone is the ribbon placement. It's offset in the magnetic gap, so it's offset towards the front of the mic, so that when you present a high sound pressure level to the mic, it pushes the ribbon into the magnetic field instead of pushing it towards the outer extremity of the ribbon magnetic field. What that does is it increases your sound pressure level handling, great for guitar cabinets, right on the bell of a horn. And it makes it more linear. If you're moving the ribbon out of the magnetic field on high excursion, on loud sounds, high excursion ribbon movement, you reach the end of the magnetic field, and the distortion increases. So Royer was able to get a patent on the placement of the ribbon. So when Nady had those mics built by a Chinese factory, they copied them right down to the offset ribbon placement, which Royer then asked them to stop doing. So current revisions of all the mics, all the Chinese ribbon mics, are what we would call a symmetrical ribbon placement. The ribbon is centered in the magnetic gap. It gives you the same front and back response. Doesn't have the supremely high SPL handling that a Royer does on the front side, but it has the benefit, a symmetrical ribbon has the benefit of giving you a perfectly equal front and back response, which makes it ideal for MS mid-side recording. So we do both types. We do long ribbon and short ribbon mics. Large diaphragm, small diaphragm condensers. I had been doing a lot of tube microphone modifications, but we ran into a lot of problems in the field with failures related to the related to the quality control of the wiring that was being done in the factory. So I've put them on hiatus. I'm not doing any tube. I'm not selling any new modified tube mics. I do offer a modification to some tube mics aftermarket, but I'm also working on my own tube mic. So we're really in a transition from where the company came from, which was strictly working on only one or two models of Oktava Russian microphones, to working on microphones from a lot of different companies, to now designing and building our own MJE branded mics, which will span small diaphragm, large diaphragm, ribbon, tube. Probably not dynamic microphones. EV, Biodynamic, and Shure, you can get great dynamic mics from those companies, and I see no reason to challenge them, even try to come up with a niche product. I mean, the SM57. There's no reason to make another SM57.
Right, they're it.
They're it.
So,
but we're happy with large diaphragm condensers, small diaphragm condensers, ribbons. It's a nice little business.
Yeah, and so again, your website is OktavaMod.com. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Mm-hmm. And you're really, really good about answering any questions. I was talking about trusting people on the internet earlier. And I think that's really what did it for me is, number one, you were on the message boards. I don't remember for your phone number. I think one of the emails, is it your wife? I think she got back with me the first time and put your phone number out there. And I'm like, well, man, if he's going to put his phone number out there, that's cool. So, I mean, that really kind of, made me put trust in your company.
I try to, my email load right now is about 35 to 40 a day, and a lot of them require a quite detailed response. So I try to get to everybody every day. Once in a while, it may take me the next day to get.
Yeah, like you said, sometimes there's an avalanche. Like you said on your blog, sometimes there's an avalanche.
Email avalanche conditions. Yeah.
But you're usually really good about getting back. Even when I wasn't a paid customer, that's great. And I never had a problem with the mic either. So I don't know how your customer support is, but I know how your pre-customer support is, and it's great. So
in the rare instance that we've had some trouble in the field, we often pick up shipping, even international shipping, to get the mic to us, repaired and back. So once you own one of my mics, I'm there for forever.
Well, that's good. That's very, very good customer service. And again, OktavaMod.com, and there's all kinds of samples. Do you have any piano samples up there yet?
No, I've got my assistant is a world class acoustic fingerstyle acoustic guitar player and a fine singer, and most of the tests have been around male and female vocals and acoustic guitar, and I don't think I've got any piano samples right now. So that's a possibility. If somebody's got got a great piano and got some talent handy, we could work out a deal and do some piano trades. Early on when I was starting, we do that quite a bit. I would trade microphone mods for sound samples.
Nice.
So I'm accessible.
Yep, and I wish you the best of luck with your business getting bigger. I like you said, your turnaround time's lessened now because you have assistants, helping you out, and
that's a good point. About the lead time. At one point our lead time was 6 to 8 weeks out, but now we're working about 1 week out right now, and a lot of products we actually build to have on. We're building new modified mics to have on the shelf. So if you want to order a pair of 012 small diaphragm mics, they're ready to ship the next day. So even though it's still a small boutique business and we're doing custom orders, we can often get something out next day, and a lot of orders get filled in about a week right now.
You have a really good thing going there, especially for the home recordists. We buy stuff cheap, and then we're kind of stuck with it, or we're selling it for half the price, and you give people an option for that, or to outright, instead of just wasting their money, they can get something great. And even for the really high end guys, your newer microphones, or you can't, like you said, you can't even buy a U67 now, so here you are.
Yeah, they're keepers. They're affordable mics. And there goes my Yorkie again. Must be another delivery. They're affordable, but they're keepers. They're lifelong keeper mics. They're not going to be mics that you're going to want to sell.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I meant to do this the whole interview, just so people don't know that I'm lying or think I'm lying. There is the modified 603S. You probably can't hear me about really well right now. Maybe you can, but. There it is. If you look up a 603S on Google Images, it looks nothing like this. And Michael's sign. Here, let me adjust it before I keep talking. Michael's sign. That was another thing that I liked about the experience. I wasn't expecting some paperwork to go along with the mic. And that was kind of cool to read. I mean, I know I read about it on the website, but to actually have that on there, you signed it, you dated it. That was kind of cool. So,
and I listened to it.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining me, and
thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to chat with you, Adam.
Yep. Like I said, best of luck, and I hope people watching this go to your website and check things out. It's really, really, really good stuff.
Okay, you're welcome to visit. Thanks.
This has been Adam for Real Home Recording.